Boston College is going to Michigan State as 3.5-point dogs. That implies, CD, that Vegas sees these teams in similar light. Michigan State and Boston College.
Hats
Tip of
off
the
to Bill
cap.
O'Brien
Tip
and
of the
Jonathan
cap.
Smith too, but
Yeah. But
more so Bill O'Brien.
boy. And people forget the tear that Boston College went on at the end of the season for Boston College standards, right? They went on a tear. Syracuse, top 25 win. 2 weeks later, you blew out UNC at home. The next week, you manhandled Pitt, who, didn't have their best season, but they ended up making a bowl game in the second half of that year. Yeah, and then, sure, things didn't go the way that you wanted to in that bowl game against Nebraska, but boy, you could have absolutely won that game. I remember watching that game, having bet on Nebraska and being immensely frustrated that Nebraska just wasn't capitalizing on things. So, boy, or getting lucky, I guess, that Nebraska made lots of mistakes in that game. Boston College didn't necessarily capitalize like they could have with Grayson James at quarterback. Enter Dylan Lonergan. What quarterback fits better into that Bill O'Brien offense than Dylan Lonergan? Guy that was highly touted recruit that went to Alabama, but maybe overshadowed by the Ty Simpson, right, in that recruiting class. They were in the same recruiting class, right?
Ty Simpson. No, he was in the same recruiting class with Eli Holstein, who's Pitt.
Okay. Well, brutal for Alabama, I guess. Two starting quarterbacks that are looking a lot better elsewhere. I mean, there's just one game. It was against Fordham. But Dylan Lonergan, remember all those practice reports, CD? Like a year or two ago? Dylan Lonergan this, Dylan Lonergan
True
that. Dylan
freshman,
Lonergan
yeah.
pushing. Dylan Lonergan this, I mean, you just heard it through the grapevine whispers of this guy that has an absolute hose attached to his arm. To be honest, CD, I think I like Boston College in this spot. A lot of momentum coming on from last year. I get Michigan State maybe is more talented, and Aiden Childs is explosive, and Jonathan Smith is a great coach, right? And there could just be a situation where Michigan State just leans on Boston College and finds a way to grind it out. Okay. But it's not like Michigan State looked awesome last week, right? Against Western Michigan. It's not like they looked great. So is this me overreacting? I don't know necessarily because I think I'm also pulling a lot from last year's Boston College stretch that they had at the end of the year. And for that team to make a bowl game last year, awesome. Awesome. Having to switch your quarterback to Grayson James in the middle of the year. And Grayson James, by the way, was not amazing at FIU. You brought him in to push Tommy Castellanos, and then he ended up taking the job. Like, what? I like Dylan Lonergan and Boston College here. Fade me, plus 3.5. I know you're going to fade me, so do it.
I will, man. And I know there's a lot of reasons to like Boston College, and I do. And like Dylan Lonergan's awesome. Lewis Bond is a pretty good player as well. My concern is with running the football. Like Turbo Richard, right? Like it has to be better than 3 yards of carry against Fordham, right? Like Jordan McDonald has to be better than 3.3 yards per carry against Fordham. Now you're going on the road against Joe Rossi. By the way, that's a great under the radar coaching matchup this week is Joe Rossi, a defensive coordinator from Michigan State versus Bill O'Brien, play caller for Boston College. So that's really intriguing. I thought Michigan State defensively looked pretty darn good. And now I know offense, it wasn't super clinical, right? I mean, yes, it was 21 points in that first half. Aiden Childs was efficient, which was nice to see. I expect him. I still think like potential for him is to be way more dynamic than that. So like that's where that kind of comes in. And him versus Longrim is going to be awesome to watch. Mekhi Frazier ran hard for Michigan State. And then the duo of Amari Kelly and Nick Marsh, I think, is actually really underrated in the Big Ten.
And Krishan McCray, coming from Kent State, also is a really explosive player as well. Like him, too.
He was very solid. So that'll be interesting. And I hate to take Michigan State. It's like I was going back and forth on this game, and I look back on all my picks this week that we've previewed, and I am taking every single Big Ten team except Iowa. Shout out Iowa. But I just think Michigan State's going to get it done. The problem is, like, both these schedules that these two teams have, they're kind of tough. Like, they're not easy. And if you're Boston College, if you're Michigan State, you're looking to make a bowl game, right? Obviously, the expectation is 7-8 wins, right? But you're trying to make a bowl game. This is a big win for either one of these teams out of conference, and trying to build some momentum. Boston College in the out of conference still has to play Notre Dame, so it's that time of the year, or it's that year in the calendar that they have to play Notre Dame. They also have Clemson, Louisville, SMU, Georgia Tech at Syracuse, plus the kid from Cal. The quarterback there is dynamic as well, so you don't want to have to see him on your schedule. And then Michigan State, they do not have it easy either. At USC, at Nebraska, back-to-back weeks. UCLA, at Indiana, Michigan, at Minnesota, Penn State, Iowa on the road. Like, it doesn't get easy. So if you're trying to win 6-7 games, this is a huge game for both these teams. I'm going to go Michigan State. I hate that it's above the field goal, but I'll take it anyways. -3.5.
I don't blame you. It's a little scary that they didn't score a touchdown or anything in that second half, aside from a safety against Western Michigan. But like, why was that though? I mean, I
Well,
don't. I guess 4-13 on third down is what'll do it. That's what does it. I see your concern with Boston College not being able to run the football very well, but also, like, I felt like that was the case last year early in the season, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, like, Kai Robichaud, he have like 200 yards against, yeah, he had 200 yards against Syracuse. They absolutely blistered UNC on the ground. Robichaud another 100 yards and a touchdown. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's in them. I don't know what went on there. I think week one is weird. You can't necessarily take everything and slap an identity on some team and just say, "Oh, this team is that," because that's what they did in week one.
yeah.
Like, for instance, like Texas A&M didn't run the ball that well against UTSA this past weekend. We know that that's one of the better offensive lines in college football. We know that that was the best rushing attack in the SEC up until Le'Veon Moss got hurt. I don't know. It's hard to make definitive calls about teams this early. So I'll take Boston College +3.5. I'll fade you, and I'll take them to win. Don't love it though. Will not be betting on this team. But boy, I wish the best for Dylan Lonergan, man. I think he found himself in a really good spot. And I think Aiden Childs as well found himself in a good spot in that Jonathan Smith system. But hopefully both these guys can take a jump so we can see a really awesome game in a prime time. 6:30 p.m. Central. Let's go, man. I'm excited for this game.